Alright.
Okay, and we have chat bans being started for this round of 16 game. Looks like the first one is going to be Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix is a very powerful assassin. He can jump over walls that other characters cannot because of his evolved wings. And he does so much damage, he either kills someone outright or forces them out of the fight, both accomplishing the same thing of creating an imbalanced engagement in favor of Kha'Zix's team. Kassadin, high mobility, very powerful silence and slow. Jayce, long-range poke, good brawler. And Nidalee, the best poke in Dominion, gives sustain to her team as well, and vision with traps on the map. Sauron has PM'd me. He knows this is on camera, so I'm going to take the risk and click on it and hope that he doesn't damn me. Bam! There you go. Thank you, Sauron. Sauron, the highest ELO player ever in Dominion. I'm scared now. Now Rheingold's PMing me. Oh dear. Chat, should I click it?
You can click it if you want.
Should I click it, chat? Does the chat want me to click it? That's the important part. I have one guy say yes. I see do it, cowards. Alright. Zerglinator, I am not a coward. So let's spam! Bam! Oh man. Wow, Rheingold, man her up.
I'm not a troll, what?
Ah, man her
What?
up.
I would never troll my co-caster.
How could this happen to me? Okay, so Elise, next ban. Durable character. I believe lost some of that durability in this patch. However, still a potent damage dealer with a stunt. Now Forged Life, now you're just... Wait, no, I know why Forged Life PM'd me. Hold on. Why don't you talk about these bans for a moment, Rheingold? And, we'll see. We'll check out Forged Life's new toy.
So, Wukong, super strong champion. His Cyclone is really good AoE crowd control, and if you build damage on him, then he just does a ton of damage. If you build him tank, then he has a ton of CC, and will reduce your armor with Crushing Blow, his Q. And he's just not fun to play against a lot. A very dominant champion, good in team fights and good at 1v1ing. Zyra has amazing zone control, as does Amumu, actually the 4th ban. And Zyra has her ultimate. You don't want to be standing on that when you get knocked up, and it's a really big area of effect knockup, and the damage happens at the beginning. So you build AP on her, she does a ton of damage. She has that AoE crowd control, zone control, and her plans are also going to do a ton of damage. You get the slow or the longer range, whichever one you do prefer, and then you're like, wow, Zyra's little plans just killed me. And again, Amumu, good in team fights. It's actually like, every time you look at the bans, you're like, wow, if those 6 champions were on a team together, it would be crazy strong. Oh my god, that's beautiful.
It's a little short. It's a little bit short. But I think it mostly fits. Dude.
And that's summoner blockers at the same time, because you can move it over.
Oh, I uh-oh'd it.
Oh no.
It's a little bit off.
I
but
think
what
you need to do is you need to display the client as the full screen, as opposed to having...
No, it was sized specifically like this way, so it should be fine.
Okay. And then Lulu is also ridiculously good because she has her polymorph is really good, and then her Q very long range, slow CC. I was going to say, did not expect to see Thresh in the slightest. He is not a very good duelist, and if you're not a good duelist, you better... I mean, okay, he does provide incredible utility to the team.
Like that?
But not such a strong champ. Jarvan going to be the first locked in here. Lulu had a 5% win rate in the Curse Tourney. Wow, I guess you never played her.
They banned it away from the mic.
Maybe you play her every game.
You keep putting it back where it was. Oh wait, so it needs to go here. Is this right? That can't be right. You can't see the blockers if I do that. Or you can't see the spells if I do that. Basically, it'll line up for one side, but it won't line up for the other one. I don't think. Yes, sort of, says Gung Ho Gunline in the Twitch chat.
Well, Jarvan is a pretty good duelist, and he's good in team fights with his Cataclysm. Zone control is like a motif that you just hear over and over again in every single game mode when you're just talking, in every single MOBA really. What can you do with your abilities to force the opponents to be standing in one particular place? Because if you're forcing them to stand somewhere, well, you can aim your skill shots there, or you can choose that place to be the point that you're trying to capture, the tower that you're trying to push, the place that you don't want them to be able to defend against you at. So any way that you have of forcing the enemy to be standing in some particular place is some form of zone control, and it's a really important thing that you have to watch out for. And I would love to see Annie and Brand on the same team again, because I remember that being absolutely terror the last time that I casted this. But looks like they will be on opposite teams this time. Rise and Brand were picked up there by TriPower, and both strong dueling mages. Rise a little bit more, or actually both of them are really AoE.
What have I done?
To say Brand a little bit more AoE focused, but Rise with his ultimate on, he was changed in the most recent patch, and to be honest, I think that overall it was a buff on Dominion, because he got his ranges decreased a little bit, but his move speed during his ultimate was increased by 25 at each level, I think.
Maybe it's supposed to... No, that doesn't fit.
Plus 45 up to plus 70, I believe, was the change at level 1, and then it increases after that. I need to look at these patch notes. 3.10 patch notes. I unfortunately don't have every single patch note memorized. That'd be pretty cool, though. Yeah, okay, so it's plus 60, 70, 80, up from plus 35, 45, 55. So yeah, it's plus 25 from winning
okay,
speed.
there you go. So that doesn't... And then we can go... Wait, okay. Overlays are hard, guys. It was probably a nerf overall, but in some situations it was a buff, because 25 move speed during that entire duration of the ultimate is actually pretty huge. It allows him to chase a lot better, and you actually That's the best I got.
It only takes you one more second to get in range to put her in prison down, because you lose 25 range. I think it was Yeah, he lost 25 range on his rune prison. It went down from 625 down to 600, but he gained 25 move speed, which means that over the course of 1 second, he's going to be able to gap close for that rune prison. So if he was already 2 seconds away from you when he cast his ultimate, he actually gets in range to cast the rune prison at exactly the same time. So yes, overall it was a nerf, but he did gain something pretty big in exchange for losing all of that range and all of his spells. Anyway, there's some other champions in the game also. We have Janna and Irelia locked in by TriPower. Irelia used to be the only champion that I played on Dominion, and I thought she was super OP, and then people said no, she's not actually that good. But I'm excited to see Irelia, because she was fun to play when she was the only champion I played.
Well, Irelia can get all the tenacity now.
Oh yeah, that's right. She can get 75% tenacity. She has to buy Merc Treads with the Alacrity enchantment, or the Captain enchantment. I think it actually has to be Alacrity. But that'll stack with... Is Ancient Golem on Dominion?
No.
She gets Zephyr?
Yep.
Okay.
We also found out that the Moonflare Spellblade, despite saying ranged only, still gives its stats to melee.
GG.
We tested that in a custom, and it's like, oh well, this is actually just great. Also, that's the overlay, guys. That's the best I can fit it. I'm gonna leave it on there just for the duration of this champ select, and so that way Forged can take a look at it. But this overlay is made by Forged Life, a community member who's been part of the Dominion scene for a while. Went missing in action for a little bit, but came back and brought this shiny new toy for us. Looks like there's just a little bit of work around the edges to get it to fit. My screen's a weird size, so I wish I could do a little bit more for you, but we had this problem making an overlay for the Curse tournament as well, just because my sizes are strange, and I don't know how to resize it to fit other people's things, so I find it easier to just build around what I have, so I don't have to mess with anything. But it's really, really cool, and I think Forged Life is awesome for wanting to make an overlay, although it does kind of cover Anivia's face a little bit, as well as whatever that other character is. I think it's Amumu. Yeah, that's Amumu, I think. Yeah, it's Amumu. It's covered up a little bit as well. But there you go. Also, if you have Aurelia with all that tenacity, you can also take Cleanse. And the Cleanse Mastery is the same one as the Revive Mastery. It's Summoner's Insight. So you already have it if you're going to run Revive. And then what you can do is hit that at the beginning of a fight, and then you have that extra crowd control reduction from it for a couple seconds, and it's pretty scare.
So we are into the Spectator Lake. Can go ahead and turn off the summoner blockers. Of course, this game, everyone is running a Revive, which is what we expect to see for the rest of the night. Generally, it's pretty much only in the first round that we see non-Revive teams. And it's always interesting to see how they do. Oh, yeah, I think I actually won, right? Is a non-Revive team that won?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a 4.7% chance to win, statistically speaking anyway. And now I have to rewrite all of those numbers. Thank you. But that was really, really cool. I would have been more percent hype for a 1% comeback, but that decision-making from Master Yi at the very end of that game, not sure how I felt about that. But that was the round of 32, and this is going to be the round of 16. This is going to be Triforce versus LPO.
Other way around. It's
LPO versus
TriPower.
Triforce. LPO versus TriPower. Is that what it says on the bracket? TriPower?
That's what it says on the bracket. They told us Triforce, but the bracket says TriPower.
We gotta go by the bracket, guys. Unless you're, have played like 800,000 times like Cheese Enema, who entered another tournament as Cheese Enematic, and we're like, guys, real talk, it's Cheese Enema. But I'll make the adjustments as soon as it goes up to the thing. So TriPower versus LPO. We're seeing a Quinn. We're seeing a Quinn with Flash, which is awesome, because Flash is really useful on ranged AD that don't have their own way to escape fights. So you can run Flash to enable that instead.
That's actually really interesting to me that she opted for Flash as opposed to Ghost if she wanted a move speed spell. Because when she's 1v1ing, she's going to be in her bird form. And Ghost is going to help her keep up a little bit better than Flash would. But if she can, dodge... The thing is, the only thing she's really going to be able to dodge with Flash is the Seer from Brand. Everything else is pretty much targeted. Rune Prison is targeted, Aurelia's Q and then E is targeted, Akali Jumping U is targeted. So that's a pretty interesting choice. You
don't necessarily need it to escape an ability specifically, though. You just need to use it to escape a situation. For example, Rise gets close or something like that. It doesn't actually need to land the Rune Prison. Don't have to flash out of that. You just have to say, hey, someone just cut in from me behind me up near the windmill. They came up from where that health relic was around the back. They want to cut me off, and no, I can just move over, flash through them, and be able to disengage. Whereas, would not be able to do that otherwise.
Yeah, well, she does have her vault for a little bit of disengage, but that does require her to get closer. And so if Brand has godlike reflexes, he'll be able to Rune Prison before Quinn can actually do the second part of the vault. And you should probably remember to turn the overlay off as we get into the load screen.
Ooh. Yeah, Brand, Rune Prison, definitely the strongest of Brand's abilities. It's a very powerful snare. Yes.
Rise, Rune Prisons.
Yeah. Hey man, if you could cut and paste champion abilities to each other, I actually want to know, Twitch chat, here's some viewer interactivity for you. If you could mix and match the spells from champions, what would you do? You can only have passives in the passive slot, you can only have ultimates in the ultimate slot, and you can mix and match WERs however you want. What is the build for that? I can't help but want to put Karthus' ult on everything impulsively, but...
It's Karthus' ult, Zillion's W, Rise's passive, and then the other two don't actually matter. Well, you do Karthus Q, I think. Yeah, Karthus Q, Karthus ult, Rise passive, Zillion W, and then... I don't remember. There's a correct answer for this that people always answer whenever there's a Reddit thread.
We'll have to think about it. I just want to see what people in the chat think about it as we go into the loading screen for this round of 16 game. It is going to be TriPower versus Ludifico Pullem Officinas. TriPower's team is going to be Spawn Legacy playing as Jarvan the Fourth, Ragnarok
Nope.
playing as What? It's the other way?
Nope, yeah,
It's the other way.
it's the other way.
No, Dual Power is LPO.
Wait, what? They told me that blue team was LPO.
Dual Power is LPO, unless I might be.
Wow, did they lie to me? Did they lie to me? Oh my god.
Possible.
can you
They
hear
do
me?
like to troll us casters.
Whoa, my computer just froze. Hello?
Hi, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hello,
Cool.
Adam Palola Show. Okay, well, I'm going to keep talking, and,
Yeah, the Twitch chat is saying that blue is LPO.
Blue is LPO? LPO Ragnarok Zermov Spawn Legacy? Tree Kicker Falcon? I thought it was a Dory Dual Power Strogan. Now I don't know anymore. We can't ask who's who because they're in the game now. Okay. Well,
I don't think I actually have any of them on my friends list.
Yeah, they're probably in the middle of a windmill fight right now, so I couldn't. If I wanted to message them, I couldn't really do it anyway. Duel is TriPower. LPO is on the left. Okay.
Welcome to the Crystal Skull.
Red is TriPower. LPO. Okay, guys. All right, I have like 8 people telling me what's up, so I'm gonna go with that. Ludifico Pullem Officinas. Alright, I'll get set up. Thank you guys for helping me out. Figuring out which thing was which. And there we go. Okay, so it's going to be Ludifico Pullem Officinas versus TriPower? Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to quick read over the teams. LPO, Spawn Legacy, Jarvan, Ragnarok, Maokai, Zermov, Annie, the Tree Kicker, Quinn, and Falcon 50-55 on cast. On the other side, we have Dual Power, Rise, Dory V2V as Bran, Strogan, McHawk, playing as Jenna, Valanda, Morelia, and New V3. Kali, I am one half of your casters. Is your computer alive, my co-caster?
Yeah, my computer is alive, and the stun immediately onto Maokai. Their windmill fight has begun. There's Janet Q coming across. A lot of damage onto Annie. A little bit of damage back. That Pillar of Flame misses absolutely everyone. Irelia is here. Jarvan is here too. Annie now channeling Rune Prison onto Maokai. Q onto Rise actually gets blinded there. That is not the target you want to blind. Irelia exactly where she wants to be in the middle of everyone. Jarvan the first one to fall, and the shield! Rise is going to live. Finally dies to that Q from Annie, but Annie falls to the Pillar of Flame from Bran. That was an amazing shield by Janna just now. Bran now, oh my god, another amazing shield from Janna. Bran once again, or not Bran, but a teammate once again survives, and the windmill fight goes down to TriPower.
In control of the top point. LPO is going to try and take that back from the Midori with a good pillar from the opposite side of the fight. Is going to die, unfortunately, as he was singled out away from his team. A twisted advance in does not pay off for Ragnarok, unfortunately. So he opened the fight with that, but took a lot of damage in return and was forced to retreat. Most of their attention, I feel like, turned on to Bran during that. And Airborne on Valandum, but a Rune Prison for Spawn Legacy, and it looks like Spawn Legacy is going to be defeated. Zermov with the stun on Valandum. They really want to take Valandum down, and Annie is able to do that.
Now Tree Kicker very low, goes down to an auto attack from Bran. Maokai heals a little bit from his passive, but Janna picks up the kill and knock up onto Zemrov. Pillar of Flame, and that is going to be a dead Annie. Earlier on in that fight, I think Bran actually suicided because he wanted to be able to revive so that he could rejoin the fight and actually be strong. And he managed to snipe a great stun off onto Annie. Ended up dying immediately, but I'm pretty sure that that was his plan all along. So shout out to that. That was a really cool play. Volley and Valandum driving onto Falcon here. We didn't use the Transcendent Blaze, and the exhaust comes down to Cassiopeia is 6, has that Petrifying Gaze. Unsurprising that she managed to get the neutral off onto Akali that early on, just because Akali does not push lane very well, and Cassiopeia is absolutely amazing at pushing lane. But Tree Kicker now trying to take the windmill back. Janna is level 6. There's the Monsoon going to heal herself as much as she can. Should be able to get a shield. Actually heals for quite a bit. Kassadin by Jarvan, but her team is here, and that's all that matters. The stun comes down. They got the neutral, though. The ult bounces from Bran. There's a stun onto several, and Spawn Legacy just chaining this point. Brand wants to get in, but can't. Spawn Legacy will be able to take the windmill back. There's point into the bird form. Rune Vision comes down, and the second part, the Sky Strike, will pick up the kill there. And the windmill goes the other direction, going over to LPO.
It was a great Tibbers by Annie in that fight, using that to stun basically everyone. Janna may have been able to keep that from going neutral. She had an amazing delay at that top tower. Her team was able to arrive in time to have that be a pretty fair fight. Ragnarok is going to retake the refinery as Annie keeps Janna back away from it. Looks like Valandum wants to go for a gank on Falcon. He's a little unsure about diving. Is tagged by the damage from the miasma. They are successful. They unseat Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia uses the revive immediately. We'll be back down in a couple of moments. And Strogan coming in from the back. Can't do too much, being stalked away by Quinn. And Falcon needs to land a little bit of damage in order to be able to take out Akali.
So Rise is top, trying to get the neutral back onto the windmill. And we'll see if he can. It is a 2 versus 2 right now on the top side. Quinn and Jarvan are coming up. Looks like Janna and Irelia are coming up from the other side. And Akali and Cassiopeia are left alone in the bot lane once again. Akali is going to have a really hard time against Cassiopeia until she can actually get the one shot off.
Yes, we're going to have to wait a little bit to see if that will come into play or when. Top 4v4 fight brewing. Jarvan dashes in immediately, airborne for his troubles, stunned following that up. A good Rune Prison on Annie. Rise able to take her down very, very quickly.
And Irelia solo, Brand so low. There's the knockup from Jarvan. Cataclysm, double kill. I think that might have been a triple kill. Triple kill for Jarvan. Everyone's HP bars were just so low, and he had the necessary AoE damage, picking that up and defending the windmill.
It was a beautiful setup for Jarvan. Quick triple kill. There was a very nice arcade smash from Maokai too. Tagged 3 people that helped set that up a little bit. And really paid off for their team. Able to sweep that fight. Jarvan almost died in the exchange. Only barely surviving. Noob v3 in the bottom lane. Bottom lane with Akali. Something that we don't see very often. But it feels like Akali could have the sustain to be effective here, which is very interesting. So I've never seen her played in that position in competition to my recollection. But there have been 800-something competitive games, so maybe it slipped through the cracks. And this is just the first time we're seeing it. Lots of vision being used in the middle of the map. Sweepers and Grez's lanterns everywhere from both sides. They want to make sure they know exactly what's going on, highlighting the people on each team. And with that tag reveal, they know exactly where they're moving to. They're dragging the fight down towards the lower part of the map. Adori trying to secure the Storm Shield for his team.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to be able to take this. There's the engage onto him. Exhaust comes down, and Brand is a little bit caught out of position there. Rise now sort of in the middle of the fray. Janna with a good ult for disengage. They need to try and get out. There's the vault from Quinn. Akali is coming up, and get a great knockup from Jarvan. 1 goes down, 2 goes down, 10 Janna survives. Janna is very good at surviving in general, but 8 seconds on her tornado, and she doesn't really have anything else at this point. EQ from Jarvan, that is up right now, and just a little bit more damage. There's a shield actually, and the tornado did come back. Janna is really difficult to catch, but I think Maokai should be able to do it.
I feel like I am the Janna cam now, waiting to see if Strogan is defeated. Picks up the health relic. Cataclysm, finally. Janna, I am done with you. Go home.
Yeah, Janna is the single best champion at escaping, I think. Her Q helps her escape, her W helps her escape, her ult helps her escape, and her E makes it so that she can take a little bit longer to escape because she can soak up a bit more damage. And on top of that, depending on what summoners you have, those can also be used to help you escape, and she is just so slippery. Chasing a Janna, not something you want to do too often.
Yeah, that kite, by the way, gave plenty of time for her allies to come back to life. If Janna had been swept, they would have pushed onto the drill or some other point very, very easily. But with Janna dragging the entire enemy team across the map, and they did not split someone off.
Bot lane trying to go for the kill, and Cassiopeia gets exhausted. There's one ult charge, a second one, and she'll be dead. But no, Akali herself will be dead because Jarvan had enough kite.
And at the top part of the map, 3v3, a lot of damage exchanged, no deaths, both teams weakened. Zermon falling back is going to be stopped by the Twisted Van. Storgan wanted to pick up the kill against Annie, was not able to do so, unfortunately. Dual Power running away from Spawn Legacy, and oh dear, he doesn't really have a way out from this, unfortunately. Throws down the Rune Prison, but is defeated.
And the quest did go over the way of TriPower, but they do not have a 3-cap right now, and Driver and Maokai on their way to recapture the windmill. They should be able to pick that up and retain the 3-cap for LPO, despite the fact that they are going to lose the Boneyard right now.
Alright, I saw a couple people talking about audio feedback, giving me audio feedback, rather. Let me know if I'm too high, too low, and I'll adjust my sound accordingly as the cast goes on. I do have the Twitch chat open. I want to make sure that we are pretty balanced out for you. Valandum taking some damage, getting stuck out a little way away from the team, being punished for it. Dual Power, the Cataclysm boxing him in. He can't quite escape, unfortunately, and he is going to be the next one to fall.
And so generally, you don't want to focus a tank, but I really actually very, especially there's a summon to do great W from Annie there, and the Pyroclasm comes across from Brand, but it's not quite enough. Janet's still trying to disengage with that Howling Gale. Going to get revealed a little bit there, and Quinn and Maokai on the other side. Once again, I don't think you're going to be able to survive. No, Quinn with that kill, and this is going to be a 4-cap for LPO. Actually, they might be able to get a 5-cap here.
It is a possibility. Valandum and Dual Power are able to keep the point neutral for the time being, but Cassiopeia in the bottom lane has been having a lot of success against Akali.
Yeah, and it's just so hard for Akali to do anything against Cassiopeia because Cassiopeia has better wave clear. Cassiopeia has a ranged auto attack, and all of her stuff is AoE. So even if Akali hides in the Twilight Shroud, if there's a Miasma underneath you, or if you get hit by too many Noxious Blasts, you're still going to be taking Cassiopeia's entire damage combo minus the Twin Fangs. Yeah, Twin Fangs is a lot of Cassiopeia's damage, but in terms of just poking damage that Cassiopeia has, is really hard for Akali to do anything.
And sweeping down to the bottom point, they really want to kick Falcon 55 out from this bottom lane, and they're going to be able to easily sweep Cassiopeia away. They get a quick neutral on the point, but the entire fight descends down here. Brand and Maokai having a disagreement on the opposite side of the map. Both of them just kind of scoping things out, and there's a pause.
I think they fixed the bug with center clicking and pauses.
It's possible, but I had my cursor free anyway.
Yeah, my cursor was not free, and I have it free now. And this is really, really loud. I'm just going to go ahead and mute that sound.
Oh, Adori had disconnected.
Yeah, I can pull open the chat, and it looks like there was a DC. Jenna asking in all chat if the other team is ready. There is the unpause. Going to go ahead, press J to jump to live as soon as...
I actually didn't have any desync on mine. It wasn't this pause in particular.
Yeah, neither did I.
Cool.
I think they ninja buffed spectator mode in this patch.
That would be amazing. I love it when Riot makes adjustments to my spectator mode that I like so much. And a lot of movement around this bottom speed shrine. It's a 4v3. LPO does not want to get into that engagement without Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is going to be rejoining them shortly. Now they can get into a more fair fight, rather. Moving up to the top part of the map, they find Maokai, begin chasing him away. Jan takes some damage as she retreats from the fight to rejoin the rest of her team.
As a motion towards the top area now. The windmill is, of course, owned by LPO at the moment. Maokai defending. Janna actually trying to start the cap here. But I think Akali is going to have some problems again in Bali. There is the engage now onto Bren. Irelia blade surging forward. The knockback from Janna actually separates the team pretty effectively. But the summon Tibbers comes down. There's the Pyroclasm. Going to get all this bounce off, and it does.
Nice!
Bren with the shutdown. RNG, OP. Exhaust onto Quinn. Good flash with the Pillar of Flame. Sky Strike comes down. One more auto attack is shielded by Janna. Great job by Strogan there. Q comes across, knocking up Reinhardt. Irelia's here gets the shutdown and the reset on her Blade Surge. Shield from Janna going to help out a lot. Zephyr too, but Annie has her stun up decently soon. Needs to cast another couple abilities. Cataclysm, Spawn Legacy picks that up, and Monsoon not available for Janna for quite a while. Rises here, Rune Prison onto Annie, gets the shutdown, but he is probably going to fall himself here. And there is the knockup. Jarvan picks up that kill. Jarvan right now, actually only 7-3 and 17. I thought he had a lot more kills than that, but giving some over to his team.
LPO doing a great job this game. This is one of the strongest showings I think I've seen from them so far in competition. Starting taking a lot of damage, using the airborne to escape and get distance. Adora using the stun for the same thing. Putting a little bit of damage on, delaying and getting back to the tower. Aurelia able to connect with Spawn Legacy for a little bit of damage.
Might actually pick up the kill on the Cassiopeia. That is the matchup turning around. At some point, Akali gets to a point where she can actually 100 to 0 Cassiopeia, and that's when she starts winning. Cassiopeia pushes and pushes and pushes, and eventually Akali gets that 100 to 0 point. She got there. She is going to win the matchup now.
She does have a Rammus Hydra, and a lot of people would ask, why would you get Rammus Hydra on Akali? Her wave clear is pretty poor without that item, but since Rammus Hydra exists, it can turn a lot of champions that were not originally able of being a bottom lane character into a bottom lane character because it gives such good sustain and wave clear.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. I've never seen Akali built this way.
We can, we'll learn some brand new meta with you guys, viewers. Dory V2V, capturing rather the Storm Relic for his team to give him that increased damage and damage shield as long as he has it. Both teams moving around the center of the map. Janna revealed. They find Janna, put some hurt on her, but a little bit of chip damage. Janna should be okay.
Jarvan on the way to bot lane as Akali goes on to Cassiopeia. Misses a knockup actually. There's the dash on the petrifying gaze hit. There's an exhaust. Tries to shadow dance out, but cannot quite. Akali goes down, has no revive.
Top part of the fight, Annie, great tibbers start that off. Tree Kicker has to retreat, circles around, actually maybe wants to finish off Rise, but that overload is going to send her right on back to the summoner platform. And that means that TriPower is going to take control of the top point, but with that gank successful in the bottom lane, Falcon 55 is going to pull off a neutral there. And Falcon, I don't know about your odds of fighting dual power, he can unload pretty heavily and is going to pick up the kill with an auto attack.
Yeah, the Miasma didn't quite land onto Rise at the beginning of the fight, but I don't think it mattered anyway. I think that Rise had that revive is available for Cassiopeia. We'll see if he decides to use. Actually still is sitting on that cooldown, so not going for it right now. Aurelia, though, fighting in the top lane, wave surge forward. There's the exhaust onto Annie, also gets the stun off. Brand, is here, but Annie will pick up the one kill, and the windmill does go back the way of LPO, so they retain their 3 cap.
Dory hanging around by the speed shrine, dual power moving up as well. Akali not going to be able to pull a neutral off in the bottom lane, unfortunately, is going to be chased away by Falcon 50-55.
Yeah, and so Cassiopeia really not losing too much by sitting on that revive. We'll still have the revive then after the next duel. Petrifying Gaze is going to be available by the time that Akali gets back to lane. So Cassiopeia looking very, very strong in that bot lane still.
The top 3v3 for the moment. Annie's going to get here long before Aurelia, which gives them a small window to try and negotiate a fight before she arrives, but that window, unfortunately, is closed. Ooh, Valandum sees the reveal from the sweeper, comes around the back instead.
Yeah, and Aurelia not building for that pulse tenacity, at least not yet. Brand does fall to Jarvan. Tibbers, I think, was used just there without actually getting the stun off.
Some unfortunate ultimate use from Valandum in that last engagement. The Transcendent Blades not really connecting.
So Janna now trying to cap as Aurelia goes in. There's 1Q. Maokai ult in a pretty good position. Exhaust comes down onto him. And the shutdown onto Jarvan. Aurelia is still alive. Aurelia just killed for so much. And that is a fantastic ultimate from Brand. Double kill for Rise. Can they get the kill onto Maokai? Janna gave up the capture onto the refinery after just getting the neutral. Cassiopeia gets the kill, meanwhile, onto Akali in the bot lane. Didn't even have to use the Petrifying Gaze there, but Akali with the revive will be able to defend. Pings go down onto Janna, where she is defending, or where she is backdooring, gets the backdoor off, and the windmill has been neutralized. And this could turn into a 4-cap in just a sec here. With Akali getting that kill onto Cassiopeia, this could be a 4-cap for TriPower.
The Odin's Veil picking up the kill against Maokai used by Rise in that last engagement. Neutral on the bottom point. TriPower looking pretty good to start coming back from this, although they need to get some people up to the upper part of the map, or Jarvan and Quinn are going to neutral that. Nuke V3 and Strogan making short work of Cassiopeia in the bottom lane. And they have found Spawn Legacy's Jarvan, able to put a lot of hurt on him, not quite able to take him down. The blaze damage successful in banishing him back to his own summoner platform. And Tree Kicker using the vision to reveal, see where everyone's at, and backs off after finding them.
Quinn now getting chased a little bit. There is one reveal. Can Rise pick up the kill? He is so fast with that ultimate, but he is running into two, and that is not what he expected. I don't think. Rune Prison, and he's actually going to run out of there with his Ghost. Rise actually running Ghost as opposed to a more offensive spell. So a lot of mobility summoners in this game. They have the neutral. This is a 4.5 cap right now for TriPower, and you see that Nexus is just bleeding HP right now.
They're doing a really good job of recovering the Nexus health deficit that they are at. They were at closer to a 300-point deficit. Now they're only down at a 200-point deficit, and that's one thing I love about Dominion is that you can almost always come back in this game mode, even if you have only a single point remaining, as evidenced by the first game of this week's tournament. 5v5 in the bottom.
That was a great ult by Janna to save Akali there, not letting people get to a place. And the Pyroclasm coming across from Bran gets the shutdown onto Bran from Maokai, and it actually looks like Janna is going to fall off of that Vengeful Maelstrom. Irelia now dueling, gonna activate the Ghost Blade there, gets knocked up a little bit. What is the cooldown on Q? Has it back up and then picks up that kill. No problem there. And overall the fight, again, won by TriPower 2-for-4.
New V3 looking to put the hurt on Falcon 50-55, but that petrifying gaze may be a little too much for Akali to handle. She's barely going to survive for a second with the heal, but the cancel means the point stays neutral, and that doesn't really help them at this point. LPO needs that point to be captured. They're just bleeding Nexus health while that is uncapped.
Yeah, so they've finally, for the first time in like 4 minutes, they've gotten beyond something equivalent to a 4 cap, and Janna actually just trying to delay Annie here. Needs to be really careful. Absolutely playing with fire. Ha, ha, ha. But Jarvan coming down. Maokai is here. He's going to get knocked up and exhausted. Ult's actually a little bit surprised by the ultimate uses. I don't... Okay, you know what? Janna's OP. And he's just going to be able to live. I take back what I said.
Oh, that twisted advance! RheingoldRiver making a completely incorrect call about Janna. Janna is perfectly balanced.
Janna misplayed that. Janna missed the knockup. But Odin's Veil comes down. Cassiopeia with the shutdown onto Rise. Akali gonna get exhausted and died, and Irelia running away. And it looks like LPO will be able to pick up the Boneyard. But yeah, if that other knockup had hit, then Sturgeon would have been able to live. And Janna just like totally sacrificing everything because she knows she's OP.
Once again, Janna escaping the fight with not that much hit points left, not that many hit points left. Sorry, I forgot how to grammar for a brief moment. They have control of the bottom point, and LPO is going to be able to win if they can hold on to this for a little while. All they need to do is force a few bad engagements for the enemy team. They have a Maokai, but his mana is starting to get really low, and he definitely needs that if he wants to survive. And his ultimate canceled already, so he's not going to have that to help him out. A little bit of damage from some saplings could potentially kill Rise, but I feel like he's going to want that Maelstrom more.
Has his desperate power. He's just going to be able to spell them. Or actually, not casting too many spells during that duration. Irelia killed too many of the minions for him. Maokai does get that one kill, and Irelia now diving under turret. I don't think she can actually tank for long enough. Rise used his desperate power there, but actually couldn't spell vamp enough because he just couldn't get enough damage down onto minions. Quinn, are you going to die? No, you're going to spell vamp enough. So Quinn, okay for just a little while longer. Stun down onto Cassiopeia. Poison on both of those champions. Bren trying to run away from the Miasma and Noxious Blast. He will be able to. Jarvan now in the ball lane. Akali picked up the kill onto Maokai. And it's still a 3 cap here for TriPower. So they are still the ones winning in terms of Nexus health change, but they are still losing in terms of overall Nexus health. Neutral went down and is now 2-0. This game is crazy.
Janna may be a flying type, but because of gravity, she still is affected by Jarvan's Earth move Cataclysm. Unfortunately, the last 2 kills, the last 2 times that she has died, have been due to Cataclysm boxing her in, and being able to control her movement so powerfully is one of the things that's been really hurting her. And her defensive garrison at the top, Strogan using that to interrupt the capture and heal the turret's capture back up a little bit. In addition to that, this is going to be very helpful. Engagement in the bottom lane as well. The top being cleaned up, it looks like, by TriPower. But no, Annie coming in from the back in the bottom. Brand and Akali were victorious. They are going to capture that point back, and get the Nexus health ticking back down against LPO.
So Odin'sville popped there, Maokai goes down, and Akali in the bot lane. Actually,
Adori, please! Missed with the pillar, unfortunately. Does catch her with the seer and takes her out. Good job, Adori V2V.
that was an ace. That doesn't happen too often.
No. I mean, you only have a 452 chance of getting an ace.
Oh. I think you made that up. I see what you did there.
Jarvan in the
After
bottom,
that.
going to clear a little bit of wave. Try and get some minions over to the tower on the opposite side. See if he can force a neutral just by driving a bunch of creeps into it and using their pushing power to get the capture while he deals with Kali. Potentially, that's what we may see. Another fight brewing in the center of the map. Zermov taking some damage. Sweeper being used to reveal the area. They want to know exactly what's going on. They want to see their opponents. Lots of vision effects being used by those sweepers and Grez's Lands, ladies and gentlemen. They will help preserve your lead. They will help you know where the enemy is. They'll help you avoid ganks. They'll help you make ganks of your own. It's a great item, those two are, with their vision effect.
Kali dueling Jarvan and gets ignited there. Gonna lose a lot of health. Odin'sville comes across Jarvan with the kill. And that could be exactly what was needed for LPO, because they're going to send someone down. Irelia has to come to defend this, and this is going to make a 4v3 in the top area. Jarvan gonna get chased down. There's an E, and Irelia with the kill. But again, 4v3 in the top lane. Rise off to the side, trying to 1v2 right now. Gets dove by Maokai. A lot of damage from Cassiopeia. Rune Prison on Cassiopeia. Odin'sville comes down. Petrifying Gaze only hit Brand there. Rise one more overload. Can he survive? No, Maokai with that kill. Cassiopeia is still alive. Exhaust in the top lane. They get one kill. Janna with a knockup onto Quinn, interrupting that capture. Gonna use the ult there, shielding herself, just trying to run away yet again. Rise and Akali actually chasing there instead of defending top. We'll see if that ends up being the right. The shield saved her! What? What? No, there's no way. There is no way. Shield again. There's the Q to interrupt the capture. No! Janna with another shield. I can't believe this. Struggin living yet again. Those shields are so clutch, and Maokai has no mana. Can't even send out a sapling toss to kill him. Uses the arcane smash. Rune Prison comes down, and Janna, complete hero of this game. They have the 3 cap. They're about to get the 4 cap, and TriPower gonna come back and take down LPO.
Janna with exactly 0 health for that entire engagement, living basically off borrowed shield time, using that to her advantage in that last engagement, and a little bit of a meat grinder in the bottom lane, able to prolong things in that area of the map to keep that point from being captured as well.
That was unreal. Janna's a pretty good champion.
Janna is, Cercio pointed out something, called me a Pokenoob for that reference I made in that, but I'm right. If you use, I believe it's gravity or something like that. It's one of the status effects that turns a flying into a not flying, negates the flying advantage, makes them vulnerable to ground type moves. It's like a Gen 5 ability, I think. But he also pointed out that it could be a rock type move and be super effective against flying. It's also possible that that was the case. The world may never know exactly what element that is. We're going to go into
I think I just figured out why Zamike thinks that Lulu is balanced. It's because that's the things that Janna can do.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, we have a round of 8 game to go to, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to cut over to a commercial really quickly as we set up that game. And the game's been great today. A lot of from-behind comebacks or starts of comebacks. A 1.1 the first game for a almost 200 Nexus Health recovery. Unfortunately, they did lose that game. And this game, staying alive at Nexus Health in the 40s and recovering almost 300 points worth of Nexus Health in order to come back and win that game. So we're going to go to the round of 8 coming up in just a moment.